Hey, how's it going, YouTube? I'm right here with one of my students. Did a crazy trade today. He locked in a 2,000% return on a stock on an option play on Pfizer. It was right.
Yep,
Super
Pfizer.
dope, super dope. So a couple months ago, that other Clove trade. When was it? Like a couple weeks ago?
Man, Clove,
A couple
nah,
weeks or a couple months, right?
few
Well, if
months.
they look back at the chart, they'll see when
Yep,
Clove just like, and that's when you caught it. You had contract call options on it before that whole run up, and then
exactly.
you ended up $200 investment. You made $6,000 on Clove,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So that return, when I seen that, I was like, okay, he got lucky. But now you do it again. What's up with that? So now this video, we're trying to get to the bottom of that. What exactly is making you play these certain stocks? Where are you even finding them? What's your strategy behind it? So what you did today, or like walk us through
Right.
like the time frame just for now, just your entry and exit and what stock you played, and then why you did it. We'll get into that later,
Okay. All
just
right.
so they can
So,
know what you did just now.
yeah. So Pfizer was a. So with Pfizer, like I understood that there were like I don't really like trading on news or anything like that, but I understood like there was this whole talk of like oh FDA this like FDA approval that, and a lot of people were like there was like just a lot of chatter like on blogs and whatnot. So I was like okay like let's see what Pfizer's looking like, right? And like just looking at the charts, like I noticed that like Pfizer doesn't really move that much. Like what is it, like it fluctuates between like what 42 to like 44, 45 if you're lucky.
So it was like
So
stuck in a chop.
I realized there's something different. Exactly, yeah. Which is like kind of like consolidating or something like that.
Hmm.
But so, but there was also this talk on like FDA approval, this and that. Like I try to stray away from it. I'm not gonna lie, but just like seeing it this time, like something was just different about it. You know, like just looking at the charts, I noticed that like there was much more volume than previous days. And like when I'm looking for charts and whatnot, I mean, you told me not to go into that yet, but like when I'm looking for charts and whatnot, like I just always want to look for volume because I remember you teaching me that, like make sure that there's volume there because that's where price action is gonna live,
And
right?
so when did you take the course?
Yeah. So I took the course. It was August like 20th
August,
something.
September 2020, right?
Right.
And
Last
you were
year.
saying something about volume. So you seen volume go up.
Yeah. So in the course, like you were like you really like put a big emphasis on like seeing volume because that's where price action lives, right?
Hmm.
Well, I made sure to always just like whenever I'm looking for plays and whatnot, like I'm always looking for like that big spike in volume because I know that's when like all right, there's gonna be price movement there, and that's what you want to look for when you're trading options, right?
Right.
On July 28th, I noticed that like before that, like Pfizer was like on a like a steady like just like trending up, right? Like the past like what like 10 days or so.
July
And
28th,
yeah.
right?
So they always talk to us about just like making sure that we like always look at volume because that's where price action lives and whatnot. So like on July 28th, I noticed like a big spike up in volume. And I was also looking at like different indicators too, like the RSI and whatnot, and it was overbought. But like with Pfizer, like it was kind of weird because I never saw Pfizer like move like how it moved this day. So I was just like kind of like I already had like in the backlog like yo like I want to enter Pfizer because I know it's more than likely gonna run.
Hmm.
So I just added it to a watch list. But like once it on July 28th, once the volume went up, I just waited for a pullback real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was on an earnings day. So before earnings. So
Yep.
it reported earnings the morning of the 28th, and then
Yep.
most
Really well.
likely that's why earnings. That's why
Yeah.
volume was so high. If you notice, right, every time earnings is there, volume most
Always
likely
high.
is going to be higher than normal because a lot of investors and traders are waiting for those numbers to come out to either buy or sell or load positions or unload. So
Yep.
you seen this happen. So right now,
Mhm.
for anybody that's not familiar, we're on demand. So we went back in time. You're familiar with this too, Abdul, right?
Yeah,
Of
for
back
sure.
testing. Have you used this consistently?
What's crazy is that like you always told me to like make sure you just like paper trade, make sure you got it. But I have not. But I want to get into like just back testing and seeing
Oh
strategies. Like
man, it's gonna be a complete game changer, bro. Like whatever strategy that you're doing that we're going to dig into right now, you can practice it on, you know,
yeah,
on demand. So here, for everybody that's not familiar, we basically went back in time as if it's right now July 28th, and we're looking at the chart exactly how Abdul seen it on July 28th. So he's seeing volume kick in. This is what he's talking about when he's talking about volume. It's above average. So if we zoom in right here, we'll see that the average line right here, it's about 23 million, and on this day Pfizer did 53 million and it went higher, which showed what, Abdul? When the stock goes up crazy on high volume, that shows aggressive what?
Aggressive buying.
Aggressive buying. So as soon as you've seen this, walk us through what happened.
So after that, I'm like, all right, like RSI. So I was also looking at another indicator
So
called
you
the
use RSI too. Okay, perfect. There's nothing wrong with any type of indicator as long as you know exactly what your strategy is and you follow your stop loss. Any
Right.
strategy can work if it's attached with it risk management, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and not even the best strategy will work if risk management is not existing. You
Right.
know? So you use RSI. Okay, so let me pull up RSI right here. And okay, so you seen the RSI was overbought.
Was overbought, right? And then like one thing I was telling myself, or one thing like one of my rules is like not to buy stocks that are overbought. But the thing with Pfizer, like the RSI was kind of already getting up there, and like it broke out of it was a resistance level that I had here, and it broke out of resistance. So that kind of like just explained the high RSI for me
Resistance on what? Can you be a little bit more specific on the RSI or on the stock price?
on the stock price, not
On
the
the,
RSI.
so the resistance of
Yeah, so
I'm assuming this $43 level, that was the high of 12.7.
yeah,
Okay,
yep,
now let me ask you this. I'm just really curious.
right.
You had a 43.08 level, right?
Mhm.
Now, before taking the course, were you like drawing levels at all like this?
I was not, yeah.
How are you making a play before taking the training?
Yo, before taking the training, I
Because
was
I
more
remember
so.
you were trading during that time.
I told you about that thing, just being on there, like seeing
You
like
broke up
once
a
I
little bit. You broke
like,
up a little bit. Say it again.
oh my bad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my connection.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so prior to taking the course, like I was more so just like looking at what other people said, and like if enough people said, yeah, buy this, like I'm in there.
Yeah, you just
In there,
got
you
it.
know?
You just get it.
Yeah, I was just, and I told you, like I was just losing back and forth. So I was like, yo, like I'm doing something wrong.
So
And
no
what's crazy is that,
levels, no RSI, no moving average, no,
like not even candlesticks.
not even candlesticks.
Not lying, man. It was tough times,
So you
man.
was
It
just
was,
gambling.
I was just honestly, that's really what it came down to. Man. Like
Basically.
I feel like with like no knowledge, or you don't have like a strategy or any rules, like they're just gambling.
Yeah,
You know?
but now you have levels. You've seen it going over this level, and then you also seen it go above.
Mm-hmm.
The RSI was overbought. So, what did that make you do or not want to do?
So the RSI was overbought, but then I also looked at the 20-day moving average and it crossed like a minute ago, right? So just looking at those two, and like I read somewhere it was like, oh, like RSI overbought, like it could mean bad. But I was just willing to take the risk because I was like, yo, like Pfizer, like on an earnings play and it's shooting up and it's some FDA approval thing. And like I said, like I don't like trading on news, but just like all those three together on one, like I just knew like, all right, those three combined are catalysts,
So
right?
you've seen there was a catalyst with the news, which is not bad, by the way. What I remember saying in the training is that
Yeah.
news is only bad if you let it make you biased.
Livestock, right,
Right?
right.
However, when news comes out, especially crazy news, that
Right.
is bringing attention to the stock. And as we all know, attention can potentially bring volume. That's why we got to wait for confirmation. So don't think because you use the news it's bad. It's actually good. And the best thing is you most likely waited for confirmation and you managed risk, which just walk us through it.
Always. So this is a daily, but I think I was like, I can't remember exactly what chart I was looking at. But usually I focus on like the 1 minute to the 5 minute chart.
Okay.
As it had like this big like green candlestick, right? I was like, all right, like cool. I'm gonna wait for a pullback. And I'm like, there was surely a pullback, right? So you see like it opened at what? It opened at
The next day?
above no on that same day, it opened like
Oh,
at
you
42
bought it on that same day, on July 28th?
July 28th. Like it's been in the watch list for a minute for like a play, but I bought it on that day.
Did you buy it over 43.08 or before?
No, before that.
Before 43.08. So what level did you use, or like what confirmation did we use? So let's go to the 5 minute here.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take out this highlight right here. It's a little here. So here's the day that you traded it, and because it's options, there's no reason for us to look at after hours, and
Yeah, exactly, right.
it's not like you can enter.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for those for July 28th on here as well, so I'll give you the right info.
So let's look at 15:55. Let's see if that works. Okay, so you said something about 5 minute, right? So you've
Right.
seen this happen. You've seen it gap up after the earnings, about 30 cents. Now,
Right.
where's the pullback that you looked for? When did you enter here?
So it went up to the what's it called? So it went up past it broke that. That's a 20-day, right? Yeah. So it broke the 20-day moving average right there.
That's the blue one. The blue one is the 20, and my red one is the 8.
That's the eight. Yeah. So I use the 20. So once it broke the 20-day moving average, I was like, all right, like it went up high, but then like it pulled back too. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play that. This is a 5 minute.
Yeah.
So yes, not the 5 minute. I think I looked at it on the 1 minute, but I was like, all right, so on this 1 minute chart, I'm gonna wait for a pullback. Yeah, let's do that.
What time?
I can tell you the exact time that I went in. So I told you that I played for my mom and I also played for myself too. So
So you got some contracts for your mom and you got some contracts for you.
myself, yeah. For
Dope.
myself, it was more so like I'm gonna hold these, but let me pull that up.
Nice, nice. So did you know they had earnings?
I did actually, I did.
So
That's
you
why I was
waited for the
trying
earnings to
to
come out.
huh?
You waited
No,
for the earnings to come out.
always,
Because you
always.
know how most people they wanna get
Yeah,
it
they want
before the
to.
earnings so they can catch that gap up or gap down.
Yeah,
Gambling.
right. Yeah, exactly.
But that's
So
amazing discipline that you waited for the numbers to come out.
yeah, yeah, always. So I didn't listen to the earnings call, but like usually, like you could tell when something did good, right? Like when price starts moving, right,
Mm-hmm.
up or down. So kind of just waited for that movement, and I'm trying to pull up the exact time that I went in. So this order was filled at 9:32 a.m.
932.
Yeah, what is that? That's
So the pullback it wasn't that crazy. It was like 10
yeah,
cents off the high.
right. But it was more so like, all right, I have my stop loss. I didn't have my take profit at yet. I'm not
Mm.
gonna, but I have my stop loss. I was like, all right, I'm willing. And I had like a stop loss. I was moving up just in case. But it was more so like like so much that same day. I was like, all right, like let's see how it plays out. Can you hear
Where
me?
was your stop? Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So the stop loss, I think it was like 40. Like I go in at I have the levels here. Let me double check here. Daily. uh, So I had a stop loss at I think this is my stop loss at 43.15. What does that look like?
So you had the stop loss at 43.
No, but that was okay. No, no, it can't be that. So I had to, okay. No, no, never mind. My bad. It was this one. It was 30.
Because you entered at what price? You entered at like around 42.50, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to ding it. Yeah, let's see. So 45.
Did you have a game plan written out? So this is a perfect example
Yeah.
why you should have trade ideas like something like this written down.
Yeah. The thing is, I have it, but I don't have it on this laptop.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's
Cool.
on my like usually it's on my like I don't write on paper, but like I put it on my Webull. So like I would chart up and whatnot, and I'll be like, all right, like this green bar here is my entry.
You could put
I
notes on Webull like stop loss this.
could, you could, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, I did that too.
In my case, if I were to get calls right here, my stop loss would have to be at least under the next strong level. So in this case, the next strong level was 42.2, which was the high before reported earnings. So it
Right.
gapped up above it. My stop loss, I would want it to be at least under, somewhere under there, right?
Actually, I don't think mine was that far from
That's fine.
yours. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't that far from yours actually. I just can't see it on this chart here.
As long as you had a stop loss, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was definitely like right after I bought the contract. Like I think my stop loss had to be like 42, like close to the 42 or like the 41 area.
Yeah. And which strike did you play?
I played the 20, no, the 20, the $45 August 20th.
$45.
Mhm.
Let's see. And I'm going to show everybody here as well why Thinkorswim on demand is so freaking cool. You
Oh, yeah,
bought
that
it at
is
932. So you bought the what?
a $45 August 13th.
Nice.
August 20th, my bad, not
August
August.
20?
Yeah.
45 call
Mm-hmm.
for about, wait,
What if for
this might be wrong. Okay, say it again.
for 13 cents.
Yeah, look how accurate on demand is.
That's
Crazy, right?
yeah, that's wild.
So you bought 20 contracts.
I bought 20 for my mom, but I bought 4 for myself.
4 for yourself. Okay. So I'm gonna just skip a little bit because sometimes, okay, it filled. Perfect. Look at that. It filled perfectly at 13 cents and 20 of them.
Right.
Okay. And then now, by the end of the day, you know what's really crazy about this percentage play? It's that most people will lock in at 30%, 40%, 60%, 100%. You held as you were up 1,000%, 1,500%, which is fucking insane. But a lot of people, because of their ego, ego would make them think like, I have to protect this. So they sell it. But in your mind, you probably seen it's a higher chance of it going up. Why would I sell right now? Let me wait for some bearish confirmation before I even think about selling. Was that it?
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually so I like monitor it closely and stuff and make sure like I have work too as I trade. So you
By
know,
the
you
end
have
of
to
the
like use
day, you were already up 100%, huh? Was that
I was
right?
already up. What? My
I
bad.
said at the end of the day,
Yeah,
you was already up 100%.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but I exited for my mother because
The same
I
day.
saw like a because I saw like a double top pattern and I was like, all right, yeah, like I
Talking
learned
about
about
this, right?
it was it that? I think it was one of those, but it was more so like it was a little like slanted to the right, but like
Yeah.
and it's definitely like it went under the neckline, right? 'Cause it, you know, like it hits a point twice with like a neckline and whatnot.
Yep.
It went under the neckline on the second peak, and I was like, all right, yeah, like I'm done, I'm out. That's
Cool.
this, right?
And you ended
So
up locking in $200 profit on the $200 investment, which is sick. The
yeah,
fact,
exactly.
and you went so far out, bro. That means that if you went closer expiration, that would have been an even higher return.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason why I went far out just to also give it room, you know, because you also like have to worry about things like the data and whatnot. So
Beautiful.
like just in
Beautiful.
case it didn't like work out like during that earnings play, it was like all right, like I have till August 20th to like exit this trade or like give it some room to breathe and see like what goes on.
I
Right?
love what I'm hearing, bro. I love what I'm hearing. Keep it
I
up.
learned it from you, man. You definitely you built that solid foundation for real.
I appreciate that. But it's all your hard work, man, because not everybody uses this knowledge.
Right.
So the next day, I'm just gonna go and skip and see how it ends the next day, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna zoom in on this 3 month, and then I'm gonna take out all these, so you could just look at the chart. So now the next day, you had four for you at $13, right?
Yeah, my bad.
So that's why it ended up being $50 investment because you turned $50 to 1,200. So $13 times four. That's why it was a $50 investment. I thought it was one contract for 50, but it makes sense now.
No, yeah.
So the next day you were actually down.
Yeah, the next day it was
So
yeah.
you went from being up 200, up 100%, to next day actually down maybe like 20%, right? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
But you know, with my mom's like
That
I
gave
was
you
a
a cushion. That gave you like, it's okay, right?
word.
So the premium went from 25 cents to 10 cents. Now, what was your plan here? Because it's literally 10 cents away from losing the entire investment.
For sure. So like
What was your thinking like?
yeah, it was more so like with options, like I know like emotions plays a big role
Yeah.
with trading, right? So like I try to always like hop into options contracts that like I can afford to lose.
So
Right?
you're willing to lose the whole thing.
Like it was like $50. It was like all right, like if this goes my way, like
Yeah.
we're good. If it was like $1,000 options trade, it would have like all right now. Like, I'm gonna,
Right. So your idea was
yeah,
it's okay if this pulls back.
yeah,
My
exactly.
my plan is I expect Pfizer in the next but before August 20 to do some crazy shit,
Exactly.
which it ended up doing.
And that,
Right?
exactly.
Which
right?
they ended up
So-
doing. But so basically, what you would advise people to do is that if they are trying to catch a wide move or they're trying to catch a big move, in
Right.
order for them to catch it, they gotta put in the total amount. They gotta be willing to lose the whole thing
Zero, exactly.
because you've seen from 50 to 250 back down to $50. So you gave up a huge chunk, right?
Yeah.
No, sorry, you were it was $50, and then it was up 100%, so you were technically up $50,
Right.
right?
And then it pulled
So
back
you
down.
went from 100% return, but you weren't really thinking about a return. You were thinking about it like, yeah,
Like
it's
there's-
worth $100 now, but I think it can make more, so I'm willing to lose this whole $100
Yeah.
for whatever can possibly happen that I expect to happen.
Right. And that was the whole risk reward ratio, like you taught us too, right?
Yeah,
Like just making sure that it's like at least I think you said like what 1 to 3 or something like that.
at least 2 to 1.
2 to 1, right? So I was like, all right, $50, like, and just knowing like, all right, if this stock price, another thing too, like I always look at like an options calculator to make sure that I'm seeing like, okay, like what's this stock going to be, or what's this options contract going to be worth if this price goes up? Like, what's my potential gain?
How do you
Like,
calculate that? What do you use for that?
but yeah, there's this thing called optionscalculator.com. You can actually click on that right now, and you just put in like, okay, what contract did you buy, and like how far you want to see it, right? Like what price you want to see, and it will tell you like, all right, if this stock price is worth $50 by like August 18th, then this is how much you would have. This is how much you would have like returned if you held, right?
Dope.
Like just kind of seeing that, and that's how I'm able to like set my price target. So I was like, because then I could be like, okay, like I want to leave with what, like $400. Like, all right, bet. So my price target is $44 on this contract when the stock
Nice.
price is, right?
Nice. So a
So
couple days later, now you're up freaking 200%. Now these numbers are a little bit off.
yeah,
The P&L here are a little bit off because this is if you bought 200 contracts.
right.
So you already locked in the contracts you bought for your mom. So
Yep.
we're gonna go back and then only buy 4 contracts so it can actually be reflected and we can see how it was for you for your 4 contracts. So on
Cool.
demand, we can reset everything, go back to the trade tab, and then actually go ahead and buy 4 contracts, right, at 11 cents, which is $44, whatever, pretty close. And then here we'll skip back to the end of Monday, last Monday. Here
Now I
it
got
pushed up, and you were up 100 and this should adjust in a second. You bought it for 13 cents, 2 cents off. It's all good. Same
yeah.
thing. Now, after it pushed, now you're up 231%. So on your $50 investment, you're up $100,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
a very, very good return, right? A lot of people would just say, this is way more than enough. I'm selling.
right, exactly,
So walk us
exactly.
through it here. Walk us through it.
So at this point, I'm like, okay, like I put in 50, I already doubled my money, or like I more than doubled my money, right? So like part of me was like, all right, I want to sell, but then I recalled back to like to my mom's trade, right? So I'm like, all right, like I could sell now, I could just wait for like a bearish confirmation, right? Like I did with my mom. So I just after I was just waiting for a bearish confirmation, like just like every single day, like looking at like the 30-minute chart while I was working, just to make sure that like, you know, like nothing's going on behind my back, but also just like setting up alerts. Like honestly, like that's the biggest thing I would stress is like just setting up alerts, because like you could dead go do something and the stock price would drop down like $4. Why
Yeah.
you just going to make eggs? Like
Right.
yeah, so that's all. Like I don't even talk to anyone, man. Like that's all the notifications I'll be getting is Webull, price target, price.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So through this, like I actually held like on this time at this time frame too.
Because you've seen that it closed over 43.74. Was that it? Because it
Like,
made a higher
yeah.
high?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like higher highs, it's trending up. Like why sell now, right? Just wait for that start of that downtrend, because I still locked in. I still have like good amount of profit. So like once it starts dropping like rapidly, like what it did today, then I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. And here, the next day, pushes even higher. And then, bam.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times, people are scared to buy here because they think it's so high. And
Yeah.
they think about it in terms of, oh, it's so high, it has to come down.
Right.
Right? So they try to short it, which is actually bad because the biggest saying that everybody should always remember is the trend is your friend.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
For sure.
people always think like, oh, let me buy the dip. No. People always say when something crashes, like when it's on a downtrend, crazy downtrend, and it's at all-time lows, they think, oh, it can't go any lower. So they buy that shit
Right.
instead
Exactly.
of shorting it. You know, they're going against the trend. And then when
Right.
people see things that are so high, like a Tesla, for example, they say, oh, it has to come back down. But no,
Right.
it doesn't have to come back down because gravity doesn't apply to stocks. Like, yeah, it could pull back, but the trend is going to remain intact, higher highs and higher lows. And you seem to understand that.
Yeah.
Before the training, were you thinking that first way that I talked about?
What was the first way? Like
Before the
it's
training,
like-
would you be like, oh, this is so high, it has to come down?
Right, yeah, but back then I wasn't shorting. It was more so like, okay, like this dropped significantly, like I want some. But also just on the like, oh, this is like going up, like very rapidly. It went up like 110%. Like, let me get in, you know, like
Yeah.
even things like that. Just like just not like putting in no type of a technical analysis, nothing. Just like looking at numbers go up, like all right, I'm in, or
And-
numbers go down, okay, I'm in.
And
you know?
something crashing so hard, you're like, oh, okay, it has to bounce now, right?
Exactly.
Or something going up like crazy, 100%, 200%. Okay, let me get in now, without maybe waiting for a pullback or understanding the trend and trying to, for example, buy a higher low, aka a dip. you know.
Right.
So bam, right here, you're up over 1,000%
Yeah.
in sheesh, bro. 1,000% in literally 5 days, 6 days.
Yeah. So at this point, it was more like an eye, bro, get out. You know, but like
$50 to $500.
500, like, bro, get out. What are you doing, right? And so now I'm on Instagram because like I'm also trying to like just like kind of set up like an Instagram for just like my trading journey.
Nice.
Just to also look back for myself, like okay, like this is how far
Fire.
I've come.
Yeah, that's
You know?
dope.
So looking at it, I'm like, yo, like I'm really up 450 right now, and I'm posting it on Instagram and not trying to exit. But then like I went back to just like that mental note to myself that
What's
like you said,
bearish? There's nothing
no,
bearish.
not bearish yet. Like why? Like this could go to 50 today,
Right.
easy. You don't know where the price is gonna go, so wait for confirmation first.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
I'm like, yo, it's trending up, so we're just gonna hold.
So you're like, I'll just hold it for one more day, see what happens.
hold it, yeah,
The next day, pulls back reasonably.
yeah,
It pulls back, but it still has most of the day before's gain. So you're probably up here like 800% or something.
Yeah. So at this point too is more so now I'm thinking like okay like I have my stop loss in place, but that stop loss only considered like an actual loss, right? It wasn't like a take profit stop loss or like if it drops down to this price like I'm out, right? And then I remember on the clove play, like you were asking me like okay like what's the lowest like I would want like to take home, right? So I just went back to that and I was like okay like if this drops down to like let's say 43 like I'm content, you know? Like it was an experience. Like I was able to just spot this play and see
Yeah.
like it go up this much. So
That's
yeah,
a pretty
it
far
is.
stop. You would have
It,
gave up another 3% and $1.50, and at that point your delta was 219. So you
right.
would have lost on that $300. So I think you would have broke even if it went there.
Broke even. No, wait. The price was what 348 at that time.
It was 40.
Okay.
Wait, you're talking about how much you were up, right?
Yeah,
Another
right.
trick that I want to let you know about. This is more so in TD Ameritrade, Think or Swim. You see how it says delta here, 225?
Yeah, right.
That means that's how much you'll make or lose per dollar.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
you said you wanted to put your stop at 43-ish. So that's almost $2. So most likely you would have broke even if it went there.
Oh, my bad. Let me double check that. Spike. What day was this?
This
This
was August 4th.
Yeah, let me just double check. I don't. Oh, August 4th. That's right here. Okay. So August 4th, I had a level at. Let's see. Yeah, nah. Yeah, man. It
You
was
would have
that.
broke even, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, that was a mindset. Like I always do like 2 trades per week, but for this one, it was definitely that. It was, yeah, I was gonna give back all that, but it was on some like on a tentative. Okay, like I'm gonna leave, like at least with my money, right?
At that point, though, bro,
Yeah,
you turned $50 to $500.
right.
At that point, are you still willing to? Because now you're not losing, you're not risking 50. Now you're risking 500.
Right, yeah, and then you talked to me about that too on that
Because
code
it's in
trade.
there. That 500 in there, you just have to sell. You know.
Yeah,
But the fact that you didn't sell allowed you to hold on a little bit longer. Did you
right.
get lucky? Like, no, it has nothing to do with luck. However, over time, I think not letting a very high percentage gain break even, like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
probably a good idea to
Yeah.
not go from up 1,000% to up nothing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But it's more so like it wasn't more so like yeah, if it goes down to this price, like I'm out. It's more so like, all right, this is my tentative, like just know like you're not gonna lose the money that you put in, right? But if it was to drop even more, like I was definitely gonna exit. Yeah.
Cool, cool.
So it was definitely just like a tentative like stop loss.
Even though that's a shooting star right there, right?
Yeah, definitely a bearish
Bearish confirmation, and the next day it went under it,
daily,
but
right?
it held.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a good
Right.
confirmation that it's not that strong is the volume was pretty low on this pullback.
Right.
So that's showing you that sellers weren't really that strong.
Right.
And then the next day on the 6th, it kind of stayed even. And then the 9th, it's not going to show because on demand takes a couple of days. The 9th, it did this. And then today it did bam. Sick. Sick.
Yeah.
So this is what ended up making it the 2,000%, that one. So the premium went from 11 cents to about $3.20.
Yeah, $3 something cents.
Sick.
Where
So from 13 cents to $3.20. So to go over, your confirmation,
right,
Pfizer, you mentioned that there was news, right?
yeah,
So tell the people like what kind of news do you use? Like where do you get your sources from?
All right, so for one, like when it came to Pfizer, like it was always kind of just on the watch list because like it's coronavirus stock and
Oh, so you've
whatnot.
been trading it, or you've been like heard about it and watching it.
It was more so like it's a popular stock, right? Like this is like in our generation what's going on and whatnot, or like
Mm-hmm.
just so I always just had it on a watch list, which was more so like I'm just like looking for spikes, right? But in terms of news, it was more so just like looking at earnings whisper.
Mm,
Inside that like kind of tells you like all right who has earnings plays and stuff like that. But
nice.
because it was on my watch list, I also got like an earnings like what is like a notification
Yeah.
from like or whatnot.
Webull
So
tells you, oh, this stock's reporting earnings.
oh yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. It's
So
fire.
seeing and also just going on the news section and seeing like all this talk about FDA approval.
In Webull.
Yeah, Webull is different. It's kind of like it reminds me of like Think or Swim, but it's more so just like a web browser version, right?
Dope, dope. Because Thinkorswim also has news here in the bottom right,
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Webull sounds dope.
Yeah. No, Webull is cool. The only limitation on it though is that
There's no app.
nah, yeah, no, there is an app. That's what's cool about it. Like, there's an app and there's a like a website, right?
What's
But
limiting then?
it's the like unsettled funds. Like once you trade something, like you have to like wait for this funds to settle, and if you
Mm,
don't, like they're gonna like give you like something called like a GFV, which is like a good faith violation or something like that.
got it.
Like
Got
another
it.
story, right? But so just seeing the news on like the FDA approval, and seeing the news on like just like they did great on the earnings report as well. Like I heard like they completely crushed it. Of course, like we selling vaccines out here,
Yeah.
right? But seeing those two, and then also just looking at the chart, like that was just enough confirmation for me. But also on top of that, I also tack on like seeing like what the analysts like say. So like I
Yeah.
go on tipranks.com, you see like what the PT is and whatnot, and what the,
On
like
what
the
dot com?
tipranks.com. You know, I'll
Tip
type it.
ranks?
Yeah, tip ranks.
I never heard of that. So what's on that?
Yeah, so on there, basically like it's just like different analyst ratings from like Wall Street analysts. So like you could just type in a stock and they'll tell you like, all right, like this is the average price target. Like this is the lowest price target that like a professional analyst gave, and this is the highest.
Nice. Okay. So it's mainly price targets from analysts. Tip
Yeah,
ranks. Okay.
price.
And I remember you said something about consolidation. I'm glad you've seen that because it's been ranging here in the
Oh
past
yeah,
between 38 and 41. You've seen it break. You knew it
right.
had earnings. I'm glad you did not jump in right here because
So,
this could have easily gapped down and went back in that range. So you waited for earnings, and this is kind of reminds me of a tip that I recently shared. Also, is
right,
I tell everybody create an earnings watch list, and
right,
then every Sunday put in all of the stocks that are reporting earnings.
right,
Right? That way, because that's when things are most volatile. And if you're scalping options, that's the best time to get in. That's where you're
right.
going to find the highest risk reward ratio, assuming that you're following your stop loss.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
great idea with that on the earnings play. You got in right away. You had your stop loss. Your stop loss never hit,
right,
and even when it pulled back, you said that's fine. You
right.
actually technically you scaled out, so you made money. So even if you lost all your profit from the first one, you're still profitable overall because of the 20 contracts you sold.
Right. Yo, actually, on top of that as well, I told you that my stop loss was what like it was like 40 something, right? Like just back down to like where I entered the contract.
Yeah.
Actually, like a little bit higher than that. It was a little bit higher, not by much, but it was still.
So you would have made like a little profit instead of 800%. You would have made like maybe 200% or something.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
It's
got it.
more so, okay, like at least I doubled my money, right? But for me, like at this point, like you actually posted about this today.
What?
It's so, like focusing more on like just the learning
Hmm.
is much more better, or it's much better than like focusing on like oh I gotta make this much money today, or I want to make this much money today.
Right.
Like just like focusing on like okay, like I just want to get better at just like spotting different strategies, stuff like that. Like you know, I would like look at a chart and not draw anything, just be like, all right, like I see a cup and handle here, like I see a double top here, you know, like just focusing on the learning. Like that's one advice I'll give like any viewer right now. Like focus more on the learning
Hmm.
process than more so of like okay, like I'm hungry to make money, you know, because like once you learn enough, like making money is gonna come, like just regardless.
Good point, man. A lot of people they enter the market to make money, and that's why 90% of them just flush right out, right?
Yeah.
And the
I
ones
was,
that stay in, they shift their mindset from making money to, like you said, learning and following your strategy and following your rules.
yeah.
That is the main thing, and then money is just a byproduct of that. But the ones
Right.
that become so stubborn, I want to make money, I want to make money, they lose it, and then they want to say, I want to make it back, I want to make it back. They lose even more, and then they just
Yep.
keep losing until they either flush out, like, oh, I can't lose another dollar, screw this,
Right.
or
Yeah,
they
that
finally get their shit together.
that was me, man. That was me. Like just baiting on like playing with penny stocks because like I was like, all right, like I don't have that much capital, so let's
Right.
get up to the worth like 50
How'd that
cents.
work out?
Come on, man. You know how that worked. Nah, man. I lost like I think on one trade, like I was down like my whole account.
Because
So I
it
went,
would just drop 40%, 50%, and you have margin probably, so you were over leveraged or whatever.
yeah, easy. Yeah. So definitely like just shifted the mindset and just like focusing on more so like I want to learn and I want to make money. Like definitely just made the money just magnet
Yeah,
towards me.
yeah, and in terms of learning, it sounds like you learned a lot of things that really helped you hold on to this trade, like risk management. You were willing to lose the whole thing, 4-out expiration, so you can hold longer without theta screwing your premium.
Right.
Playing higher highs, like going with the trend and getting calls on higher highs. One,
Right.
waiting
Yeah.
for earnings, bro. You see how many fucking good things you did? Like waiting for
Appreciate-
earnings to come out before buying.
Right.
RSI overbought. Now, one thing about that is
Oh,
RSI is an oscillator indicator.
right.
Moving average is a trend following indicator.
Right.
So moving averages are good to be used in a trending market, aka there's higher highs and higher lows. Oscillators are better to be used in range trades.
Okay.
Right? So
Right.
when something is overbought, a lot of people think, oh, it has to cool off, right? But if you look at Tesla, for example, when it did a crazy run, let's say we go back to a 1-year daily, we go to this run right here, we're going to see that Tesla was actually overbought the whole ride up. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole
No.
time, like if you were trying to short it, as it's overbought, it even pushed up another 12%. And then again here, you see how it's overbought?
Yeah.
Some
Right.
people use an overbought signal to short, which is stupid. Shit went up another 20% as it's overbought, right? But that's
Yeah.
just the terms, overbought. You're only supposed to use those in ranges. You're not supposed to use oscillator indicators like RSI and stochastic in
Right.
trending markets. You're supposed to use it in ranging markets. Just
Okay.
just a tip for you, because you said, oh, it's overbought. I probably
Yeah.
should have waited for it to cool, but nah. If it's a trending market, it's hot. That's when you get it. If it's a trending stock, I mean.
Right. So when it's by range, you mean like it's in the channel?
By
or it's-
range, yeah, exactly. So by range, I mean like we've seen in PFE, this thing right here.
Right.
So
Right.
this would be a good time. Here, you see here how you got stochastic?
Yeah.
Right here, for example, you see stochastic is making a higher low,
Right.
and at the
right.
same time, it's making a same low here. So this is actually a bullish confirmation on stochastic, that stochastic is higher, but then the price is the same price.
Oh, you got to teach me about that, bro.
Right.
You definitely think about
So
that.
yeah, just remember that RSI and stochastic only use their signals in ranging markets.
Moving markets.
know?
Okay. Cool.
And
yeah.
here, technically, this is overbought, right? Up here.
Right. Yeah.
But look, it broke out of the range, so you can't use an oscillator if it's not in a range. And then bam, imagine if that was a short signal, you would have gotten screwed. You know?
For sure.
Some
Yeah,
people, bro, some people like on Instagram or YouTube, they'll be like, oh, the #1 indicator, right? And then they'll use RSI, for example, and they'll say, hey, when the RSI is over 70, short. When the RSI is under 30, buy, right? Now imagine you listen to that dumbass, and then you short right here, bam, you're screwed.
done.
Right?
You're done.
And look, see the overbought thing? It's still overbought. And guess what? People are going to keep freaking buying and buying and buying until FOMO runs out.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. Okay.
So that's another thing that you mentioned.
Yeah. Nah, you definitely just gave me OD game just now, bro. Definitely. Okay. Right.
So,
So what's-
yeah, a lot of things, bro, that you did amazing. And the reason that you were able to actually catch that 2,000% move is that you waited for a bearish confirmation. And looking at it here, it pulled back about 2.6%. But by that point, you had already caught it for 8.5%. So it didn't even retrace half the move. So
Right.
technically, you never really had a reason to sell. I'm assuming you sold today? You locked in, or
I definitely locked in profit today.
all four?
Yeah,
All
everything.
four
Yeah.
contracts. Cool.
Yeah. Because I was looking at the daily, like it was like the 1 minute or like the 5 minute.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of like it just looked like a reversal to me. So I was
Oh,
out of
like
there.
here, right? Like when this happened, you're like,
There was no green. There was no green candlestick. It was just straight red.
yeah. It pulled back 1.6%.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
bad,
And
bro. This actually might be a top. And if it keeps pushing, you can always look to play it again with small size.
right, it's the mindset, right? Yeah. Like
Just
take profit, it
yeah,
goes down.
manage
That's
that
it.
risk. I would just take the money out, take some of it out to
Right.
protect it. That way,
Yeah.
even if you lose everything, at least you protected something in the account, right? And I
Right.
mentioned that today as well.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I saw that. Like you talked about like scaling out of trades, basically.
And you
Like
felt
that's
that, right? Like you have
yeah.
that happened before, where your account would go up and then it'll go right back down to where you started.
Yo, one time, I promise you, like, I forgot what play it was. My memory is trash. But I was like literally up like 5K in one day on an options play. Like, I kid you
Wow.
not, 5K. Bro, like 5 minutes later, bro, all that cleared. All that cleared. So it was like, like I'm looking at it, and it's like, oh, wow, like, okay, where's this taking me, right? And then right back down.
On a goddamn roller coaster. That's.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, this was great, bro. Thank you so much for sharing it. I feel like I have a good understanding of how you're catching this.
Right.
Next time that you see one of these, tell me so I can put in $3,000 and make
Yeah.
60,000, and I got you with something.
All right, say that.
Like
Yeah,
any
but,
crazy news, bro. Like share it in the Discord or something, or don't only share it with me, share it with the whole crew.
okay.
Let everybody in SMS eat.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
super dope, bro. You played the catalyst. You played the higher highs. You
Right.
followed the trend.
Mm.
You waited for earnings. You put in the money, an amount that you were willing to lose, and you went 4 hour expiration. I can't stress enough how every single one of those points really
Right.
contributed to that 2,000% gainer, bro. So congrats on that. That's freaking amazing. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. Like I picture you catching these plays later with like $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's-
you only look, bro. Think about it. It's the same fucking play, bro.
It is. That's
Same
how I
play.
think about it.
All you're doing is just buying more contracts.
Exactly.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And your stop loss, you could put your stop loss where you lose $200-300. You know what I mean? Like put in 1,000 maybe, or maybe even put in 300 or 400, and just because what made you comfortable is you were willing to lose the whole thing. So unless
Exactly.
you're willing to lose the whole 1K, don't do that.
Don't do it.
But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that at one point, like for example, whatever $50 percentage is of your account, sooner or later that same percentage of your account is gonna be 1K. You get it? If it's a bigger account.
Exactly. Right.
So if
yeah.
you do that, you put the 1K in and you catch one of these bad boys, that's 23K. That's
Oh,
fucking
that's-
life changing,
Fun.
bro. So I don't want to give you I don't want to excite you too much where you're like focusing on the profit, because you're doing so amazing and you're still focusing on the risk. Keep it that way. You
Exactly.
understand what I mean? Tomorrow, like this $1,200 doesn't even exist. Okay, that you made. You turned $50 to $1,200. Amazing.
Right. Right.
However, if you focus on it too much, I promise you'll lose 1,500 the next trade.
Easy.
You know what I
Easy.
mean? Easily. So withdraw it. Start with 200-300 again,
Yeah.
because obviously you don't
that's
need
like
a lot. You don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money, as we can see.
that's what it's been like. Even with Clove, like I also did LC too. Like LC was like, I don't know if you saw that. I was like 100 to 3K. Like I think that was like last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wrap up exactly. The thing is though, like I'm sure I bought it on. I don't know. I think I bought it on the earnings day.
Before
I don't know if
or after.
or after. But with
Most
this
likely
one,
after, right?
I think I definitely went in. They reported earnings after, probably, right?
Yeah, they reported after this. So when did you buy it?
I bought it then. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's fine. I mean, were you willing to lose the whole thing?
I was. It was $100.
There
It was
you
like
go. There you go.
yeah.
Some people put in earnings with money they can't even afford to lose.
I can't. Yeah, never.
You
Like
know?
it's always like $100 to $200 range, because I know like that's what I'm comfortable with, and like if
Yeah.
it goes my way, like I do it so that like I look for plays so that like if it goes my way, like I'm expecting like 1,000% return, like 2,000% return, 500% return. Like it's not often, but like if I'm able to like catch those like at least like periodically, like
And what makes you think like, okay, this might be 1,000%er? What?
it
What
is
is
like
it?
so first looking at the. So remember when I told you about the options calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that also just looking for contracts that are like, for example, like LC, like it was at $16 for a minute, right? So the contracts like they were losing value because like it was at that like
So the volatility dropped and it got cheaper.
you're looking for so you're looking for like things that have like low volatility, but they have like this potential in the future to have higher volatility within the expiration date.
Yeah, I hope people are taking notes.
Yeah, so I bought these for like $10 per contract, and I bought like 10 of them for $100. I think I woke up the next day, like even like after hours, bro. Like it was
Yeah.
up like it went to like $22, and I'm like, yo, like I really hit again. Like that's crazy.
Sick, sick, sick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
keep managing that risk, bro. Keep grinding. Keep
Yeah, for
practicing
sure.
your strategy. You're on a good path. Um, are you struggling with taking any big losses?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Like on any individual trade, are you ever losing more than 2% of your account, for example?
Oh no, no.
Good,
I
good.
always make sure like I think I try to like even invest like at least or like at most like 2%.
So the whole thing is 2% of your thing.
Yeah. So it's like okay, like if I go into this trade with 2% of my account, like I'm calm. If I go into this trade with like 1% of my account, like it's calm, right? Yeah.
Nice, nice.
It's that clove, man. That clove play set me up really well.
That's
It's
what's up,
probably
bro.
that.
Just keep up the momentum. That's why I mentioned that because a lot of times people will do like 1K to like 100K, but the way that they did that though is that by taking high risk, you're getting crazy returns but you're keeping your risk low. So you're not on the same trajectory path as that. But
Bro.
always remember that euphoria can easily get us and grab us, like feeling
Yeah.
so good that you feel on top of the world. I can't imagine catching a 23. Like, bro, there's days where I put in 5K, for example, and I catch a 50% return and I make 2,500 and I feel like the man. I can't imagine catching a 2,300% return, right? But now it makes sense now. Just be willing to lose the whole thing and then just forget about it, right?
Exactly.
Put alerts and then just forget about it. So I'm definitely gonna apply that and I'm gonna try. You went, how many weeks out was it? 5 weeks?
I usually do like I try to do like 4 to 5
Four to
weeks. Yeah.
five. Nice, because you expect the move to happen in the next week or two.
No, next week or two. Yeah. So if it doesn't happen within those next week or two, probably play it out for like one more week, see what's going on.
You were right on the money with Pfizer, bro. Right on the money. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to your next call out.
All right, for sure, man. That's like a lot of people are telling me that, but I'm scared to give call outs, man.
Nah,
It's
nah,
like
don't like keep it in the chat, right?
Right.
Don't give call outs in a way like say buy this, buy that. Legally, we can't do that. But what you
So
could say is, hey guys, I'm looking at this, this, and this. If this does this, I'm looking to get this expiration, like something like that.
yeah, right,
Based on my research, I have a profit target of whatever.
right,
You know,
exactly.
that's pretty
Okay.
much it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, I'm definitely. I want to invest more time into it. Like after I wrap up my internship,
Yeah,
August 20th. Just spend those like days or that mornings just learning and trading,
a
and then
hundred
go.
percent, 100%. The best way for you to stay consistent with the market is if you have an outside source of income and you don't really fiend. You're not really fiending for money. You know,
Exactly.
so just keep on securing the bag outside the market, and at the same time keep on honing your skills like you're already doing. You know,
Right. Mhm.
no hanging out, no all you can do that later. You know,
Well, honestly, but that's the mentality I'm in, man. Like I'm trying to like build skills that's gonna bring wealth, man. I'm
that's
not
it.
trying.
That's it. And bro, do not lose your momentum, bro. Do not lose your momentum. I'm telling you, the only people that can break their momentum is ourselves. We're the only ones that could stand in our own way. You know,
Right.
so don't think like, oh, because I did something good, I can slack off now. Like none of that. Keep your momentum, and then trust me, bro. When momentum hits, you're going to see exponential results. Like
Right.
what took you 2 years to get to, you'll do it in like a year. And then what took you a year to get to, you'll do it in 6 months. And then what took you 6 months, like, and then phew,
get-
forget about it. You know what I mean? I've witnessed this with my own eyes with personal friends,
Word,
right?
okay.
Making
Yeah.
$1,000 a day, and then making 1,300 a day, and then making 5K a day, and then making 20K a day. Like, phew, all because they stayed true to themselves and they stayed humble and they stayed consistent doing what they're doing. You know, that could be you, bro. So make sure you don't have any limiting beliefs and
That's it.
understand that you're worth hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions. Like, don't even put a number on it. It's unlimited, right?
Yeah.
And even forget about the money if you can. Just know
Right.
that you deserve everything that's good coming your way, and always feel positive about what you're doing. And at the same time, just make sure that you never like put yourself down or say, nah, I don't deserve this much, I'm not worthy. Obviously,
Right.
I don't think you have that because you're able to get such high returns, right? You're able to get high percentage returns. However, it's not a coincidence that maybe it's around that $1,000 mark. Maybe if you put in a little bit more money, you would have sold it when you reached $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. Maybe
Right.
in your head, you're like, oh, I don't expect myself to make X amount of money. So try to like also work on affirmations and to reprogram your subconscious mind. I always follow my rules. I am open to unlimited amounts of money. I am open to unlimited amounts of wealth. Like keep on saying that stuff, and sooner or later it's just you're gonna attract it.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty much it,
appreciate
bro.
that, bro. Definitely. But you're
Anytime,
always
man.
spitting game. That's why I enjoy talking to you, man.
I appreciate
Always
you,
a
bro.
lot
Thank
of
you. I'm so happy that I pushed you to like
yeah,
to finally take it seriously, because I remember excuses would slip up every now and then, like I'm doing this or I gotta finish this, blah blah blah. So I remember my mentor when I was in college. He called me, and then I was like, oh yeah, I want to take the course, but I'm in college now. I should probably wait until I finish.
right. Yeah,
I'm a little bit busy now. I'm gonna be more focused after college. And then
yeah.
he told me this, bro, you're always gonna be busy, man. If you're gonna make it a priority, you just gotta do it, right?
Got it.
He's like, you know what? You're 100% right, bro. Send me the code. I'm gonna get it right now.
Right.
So that's why I was so happy that he did that, because he could have easily said like, oh, you're busy? Okay, no problem. Just hit me up whenever. Boom. And then maybe I don't even start trading. Maybe I never even get into stocks. Who the fuck
Right.
knows?
Yeah, man.
So that's why anytime I'm reaching out to people, I go and follow up and like keep on seeing if something's there, just
Right.
like he
Yeah.
did. I'm just paying it forward.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. Like I noticed that, like even when I think I was like in my sophomore year of college at the time, and like I was just going through like mad midterms and stuff like that, just like stressed out of school. And then you just like texted me out of nowhere, like, yo, like how's the trading going, man? Mind you, like I haven't traded in like 2, 3 months, bro. I just had like a few stocks that I was holding. That's it. But,
Yeah.
like actively, like just like looking at charts stuff like that. I haven't done that in 2, 3 months. But just seeing that and like just going to your Instagram, I'm like, yo, like I could literally like balance these two. Like I could learn how to trade, and on top of that, like just be able to like like just do things. Right?
Everybody got the same 24 hours, bro. The most successful people, they had 2, 3 jobs and they were trading, and like, bro, it's
Like,
possible. The
it's
only
possible.
the only limits are in here.
Hmm.
Okay, you could do it if you think you could do it, and if you
Right.
don't think you could do it, most likely you're not gonna.
You're not going to
You know.
exactly.
But yeah, this was a pleasure, bro. I really learned a lot from you. I'm glad you're
Yeah.
part of the team, and
Right.
I look forward to seeing your next big play, and seeing you six-figure trader and onward, bro.
I appreciate you, man. For real. Like I owe it to you, man. You're the one that got me into it.
I'm
And
so
from
super glad that you joined, bro.
delivering caviar to traders.
Caviar, yeah, that's where we met. Remember? That's crazy.
That's how we met,
That
actually,
is
right?
where we met. I was doing my caviar deliveries. You were doing caviar, and then we just started chopping it up.
Yeah, we were like, yo, I'm making this much a day. I'm like, yo, I'm only making like $90 a day. How you making that much a day?
Oh, and then wait, I was giving you advice on where to go to get like the best
Yeah,
deliveries, right?
exactly, bro. Like you always like, yo, when you get into something, that's what I like about you. Like once you get into something, like you're gonna get into it. Like
I
you're
got
gonna find
OCD, bro. It's like that's just how it is. I need to make sure everything is
bro.
like
This
perfect.
was things in order for sure, bro.
I was
As you-
always fucking loving just to advise and to just teach and like
yeah,
put people on, So that's why in the stocks it's like it just made sense to help others.
yeah, right. And you can do it on your own time too, which really adds to it, right?
100%. Well,
And I
it
appreciate
was
this.
a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
bro. See you later, man.
All right, see ya.
Peace.